What if I told you that your past isn't behind you and your future isn't ahead? What if what you feel, think, and choose right now, in this very moment, could rewrite everything that has already happened and bend time to align with what is still to come? This video is a portal, an invitation to explore one of the most intriguing discoveries of quantum physics and the teachings of Jacobo Grinberg. The present is the key that unlocks every version of your reality. Today, you'll understand how to use a quantum shortcut to manifest what you desire much faster than you ever imagined, not through effort, but through presence and vibrational decision. So before we go on, write this phrase in the comments: I am the signal and reality responds. This affirmation is more than a symbolic gesture. It is an energetic command for the universe to begin, right now, to reorganize itself in your favor. Jacobo Grinberg was one of the great visionaries of the 20th century, a Mexican neuroscientist who combined the rigor of science with the ancestral wisdom of shamanic traditions. His studies on consciousness and the so-called neuronal field proposed something revolutionary. The reality we perceive is a construction, an interface created by the mind, and it can be altered from within the observer's state. For Grinberg, there is no fixed external world. None. What exists is a quantum field of possibilities that responds directly to our focus, emotions, and intentions. This view resonates with astonishing scientific experiments. In 2012, the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment conducted in Vienna demonstrated that a decision made in the present could influence the outcome of events that had already occurred in the past. This shook the very foundation of our linear understanding of time and confirmed what Grinberg had already intuited. Consciousness does not simply observe reality, it shapes it. By combining these discoveries with meditative practices and manifestation principles, this video offers you a direct path to access this malleable reality and activate your innate ability to shape your own destiny. Because once you understand that reality responds to your vibration, the impossible becomes nothing more than an unmade choice. We grow up believing that time is a straight line, past, present, and future, each rigidly separated. That idea is so deeply rooted in our perception that we rarely question it. But what if it was all an illusion? Modern science and the world's oldest spiritual traditions both suggest that time, as we know it, is not absolute. It is a perception shaped by consciousness. And more importantly, that perception can be reorganized starting now. At the quantum level, time does not move in a linear order. What you choose to feel, think, and observe in the present moment interacts directly with both past and future events, because everything is connected through a web of possibilities. This is one of the central ideas behind the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment, which showed that the way an experiment is observed in the present can retroactively change how it happened in the past. It sounds impossible, but the data is clear. Reality bends in response to present observation. This means the past is not fixed. It is a narrative in constant revision. Memories, old emotions, traumas, or decisions you once considered defining can be softened, healed, or transformed when you step into a new vibration here and now. Likewise, the future is not waiting ahead of you to unfold. It is being created right now from your current vibrational state. The present is the point of convergence for every possible version of your existence. Grinberg often said that we live in an illusion created by the mind, an interpretation of reality filtered by unconscious patterns, beliefs, and repeated emotions. Change the filter and you change the world you see. And the only place that filter can be adjusted is in the present. That is the true power of now. It does not merely influence, it reconfigures. Everything that has already happened can take on new meaning, and everything that is still to come can be rearranged when you decide to adopt a new inner position. The key is understanding that your consciousness is not at the mercy of time. Quite the opposite. Time submits to your consciousness. Therefore, every choice made with presence, every thought held with clarity, and every emotion lived with intention has the power to bend the timeline toward your new identity. The present is the gateway to all realities, and that is why it contains all your power to manifest. Jacobo Grinberg went far beyond the boundaries of conventional science. He dared to cross the limits of traditional neuroscience to explore a question few have the courage to ask. What if reality is not something external, but something internally created by the human mind? His research led him to develop one of the most intriguing theories of recent decades, the concept of the neuronal field. According to Grinberg, the mind is not just a byproduct of brain activity, but a field of perception that interacts with reality like a creative filter. What we call real is, in truth, a projection organized by our consciousness, which selects, interprets, and shapes what we see, feel, and experience. Reality is malleable, and the mind is the tool that molds it. The neuronal field is a unified field of consciousness connecting all experiences and information available in the universe. It is an invisible yet present fabric in which all possibilities exist simultaneously. Each individual accesses a specific portion of this field based on their beliefs, emotions, intentions, and level of perception. In other words, the world you live in is only one of many possible versions of reality, chosen and sustained by your inner vibration. This theory aligns directly with quantum physics, especially with the principle of wave-function collapse. Until something is observed, it exists only as possibility. Conscious observation determines which possibility manifests. In this way, Grinberg built a powerful bridge between science and spirituality, affirming that inner observation is as powerful, if not more, than external action. For him, lasting transformation must take place in the field of perception before it manifests in the physical world. This means that by changing your internal field through new beliefs, aligned emotions, and conscious decisions, you immediately alter the information you access in the neuronal field, and this is reflected in your visible reality. Grinberg also believed that phenomena such as synchronicities, spontaneous healings, instant manifestations, and even mystical experiences arise from shifts in our connection with this field. And most importantly, anyone can learn to consciously access and interact with it. This is not a gift reserved for a select few, but a natural right for anyone who chooses to awaken to the power of their own mind. Although Grinberg's work was silenced after his mysterious disappearance, it lives on and is increasingly validated by modern scientific experiments. His legacy reminds us that we are not victims of reality, but authors of the storyline we choose to sustain. And it all begins in the same place, the now. Imagine for a moment that everything you call past is still open, waiting for new meaning. Strange, isn't it? But this is exactly what quantum physics is beginning to demonstrate, and it lies at the heart of the so-called quantum shortcut. In 2012, an experiment in Vienna known as the delayed choice quantum eraser shook the very foundations of linear time. Scientists created pairs of photons, particles of light, and discovered that the way they chose to observe the second photon later on retroactively influenced the behavior of the first. The future was, in some way, editing the past. This discovery is more than just a laboratory curiosity. It reveals a central principle of reality. The present is sovereign. What you choose now, the emotional and vibrational state you cultivate in this moment, has the power to reorganize the way past events are structured in your mind, and as a result, in your vibrational field. You've likely felt this yourself. Certain memories that were once painful, after a deep inner shift, begin to carry a different weight. Sometimes they even feel like they belong to someone else. This happens because the emotions and meanings you attach to the past are not carved in stone, they are malleable. When you change your current frequency, your nervous system, your subconscious, and your energetic field begin to restructure how you interpret and feel those experiences. It's as if you are retroactively editing the files of your story. This is the true quantum shortcut. You don't need to relive trauma to heal it. You don't need to go back to change what happened. You only need to change who you are now, and that is enough to rewrite the narrative. The vibration you assume in the present emits such a strong signal into the quantum field that it begins to affect not only what is to come, but also what has already passed. This is where practice becomes powerful. By entering the right mental state, such as the hypnagogic state just before sleep, you can revisit a past moment and send it new vibrational information, a higher emotion, a decision of strength, a more conscious perception. This signal travels across your timeline like a wave, reorganizing everything it touches. The result is not only psychological, it reflects in how your body behaves, how you see the world, and how the world responds to you. The quantum shortcut does not require physical effort, only conscious presence. When you understand that time is a living tapestry and that you are the weaver, liberation becomes inevitable. The past stops being a burden. It becomes raw material for the most powerful version of who you choose to be now. There is a powerful truth few people know. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Everything in the universe is in constant vibration, broadcasting frequencies that ripple across the quantum field. Every thought, every emotion, every belief you hold creates an energetic signature, a vibrational signal that tells the universe who you are being in this moment. And the universe, like a quantum mirror, simply responds. It does not judge, it does not question. It aligns your reality with the signal you are transmitting. Jacobo Grinberg saw this as a direct communication with the neuronal field. He believed we are living transmitters connected to a network of infinite possibilities, and that the way we perceive ourselves determines which of those possibilities solidify into concrete experiences. This means manifestation is not an external event. It is a natural consequence of the internal state you choose to sustain. In practice, this changes everything. Instead of waiting for something to change so you can feel confident, you choose to feel confident now. Instead of searching outside for something to validate your worth, you broadcast the vibration of inner worth. And without even realizing it, your reality begins to bend toward that new frequency. The people you meet, the opportunities that arise, even the coincidences, all rearrange to confirm what you are vibrating. This is not just a mystical idea. Neuroscience offers a solid bridge to this understanding. Our brain has a system called the Reticular Activating System, RAS. It acts like a filter, selecting what you perceive among billions of available stimuli. This system is programmed by your focus, beliefs, and expectations. When you begin to see yourself as confident, abundant, and capable, the RAS highlights opportunities and situations that reinforce that self-image. You begin to notice what was always there but invisible before, hidden by a different vibration. The quantum field, therefore, responds to coherence. It is not enough to think positively while feeling fear or doubt. What creates reality is the congruence between what you think, what you feel, and who you decide to be. When those three elements align, the signal you emit is clear, powerful, and magnetic. It does not ask, it does not beg, it does not wait. It declares, "This is my truth, this is my frequency, this is my reality." That is why you do not need to convince the universe to give you anything. You only need to become the version of yourself that already has what you desire. This transformation is not a future wish. It is a present decision, a conscious choice to embody now the identity aligned with the reality you want to live. You are the signal, and the universe simply responds. There is a moment each day when your mind opens completely to new possibilities. A moment when rational filters fade, inner resistance disappears, and your consciousness connects directly to the field of creation. This state is known as hypnagogia, the transition between wakefulness and sleep. And it is in this subtle and powerful space that quantum reprogramming becomes most effective. Jacobo Grinberg emphasized that when the mind enters altered states of consciousness, it stops interpreting reality linearly and begins to access it as a malleable vibrational field. It is precisely at this point that the conscious mind steps back and the subconscious takes command, absorbing everything fed to it with focus and emotion. This is where the technique of quantum reprogramming takes place. Before sleeping, when the body is already relaxed and the mind drifts between images, memories, and sensations, you stand before a portal. And whatever you choose to feel, visualize, and affirm in that moment will be imprinted into the deepest structures of your mind and broadcast to the quantum field as a new reality to be organized. The practice is simple, but must be done with full intention. First, prepare your environment, eliminate distractions, turn off the lights, silence your phone. Lie down comfortably and breathe deeply a few times, letting your body enter a progressive state of relaxation. Feel each part of your body slowing down. The goal is to shift brain waves from beta, alert, to alpha, and then to theta, the frequency of deep suggestion, childhood absorption, and filter-free learning. Next, choose a powerful, clear, and positive affirmation. Something like, "My reality aligns perfectly with who I choose to be. I am at peace with my past and empowered in my present. Abundance, love, and health flow to me naturally." But take care. It is not enough to repeat mechanically. You must feel the truth behind the words. Imagine the affirmation is already real. See yourself living as if everything you affirm is part of your now. Visualize in detail. Feel the emotions this version of you is feeling. Bring that vibrational state into your body, your field, your very cells. Then simply fall asleep in that state. Let your last conscious vibration of the day be that new identity. This final signal is what your subconscious will continue to run throughout your sleep, an energetic instruction sent to the universe. With repetition, this frequency begins to consolidate. Your perception changes, your actions change, and the world around you inevitably responds. The hypnagogic state is not just a neuroscientific curiosity, it is a doorway between realities. And those who learn to use it consciously discover that life transformation doesn't require time. It only requires presence. Imagine your life stretched along a golden thread, a vibrational timeline connecting all your experiences, past, present, and future. Now, imagine that thread is not fixed but fluid, responsive, moldable, reacting to the choices you make now. That is the essence of rewriting your timeline, realizing you are not bound by what you lived, nor limited by what you expect. You are constantly recreating your journey based on the version of yourself you decide to sustain. Jacobo Grinberg said, "The neuronal field contains every possible version of being, and what determines which you live is your perception." This idea aligns perfectly with modern studies on wave function collapse and the concept of multiple coexisting realities. In other words, all versions of you already exist, and each present choice is an access point to its corresponding timeline. When you assume a new inner identity, more confident, more free, more aligned, you begin to broadcast a new frequency, and that frequency reverberates both forward and backward. The past is reinterpreted, reframed. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and begin to see every experience as a step in your expansion. What once hurt becomes wisdom. What once limited now liberates. And this change is not only conceptual, it is physical, energetic, perceptual. Your body responds, your posture shifts, your breathing deepens, your energy flows more freely. Your mind responds, your thoughts grow clearer, more constructive, more coherent with the new narrative, and inevitably, reality responds. People, events, and opportunities align with this new version of you. To anchor this process, you can use visualization practices where you literally revisit past versions of yourself, not to judge, but to offer them the light of the awareness you now have. You can send love, forgiveness, safety, clarity, and by doing this, you are not merely imagining, you are rewriting the frequency of that moment in your energetic field. That reorganization spreads, harmonizing your timeline as a whole. The same applies to the future. By visualizing your best self, you create an attractor point in the field. Each time you vibrate in resonance with that version, you accelerate the path toward it. Over time, the gap between the desired version and the current one disappears, because you become it. In the end, rewriting your timeline is not about changing the past or predicting the future. It is simply about embodying, here and now, the version of yourself who lives the reality you have chosen to experience. And when you do this consistently, the universe has no choice but to reorganize everything around you to reflect this new you. Now that you understand, time is not a straight line and that your reality is shaped by the vibration you hold in the present moment, it's time to apply this knowledge. It is not enough to just understand. You must commit to practice, to the daily decision to be the version of yourself who already lives the reality you desire. So begin today. Set aside a moment to practice reprogramming in the hypnagogic state. Choose a powerful affirmation, visualize with intention, feel the emotion of the reality already fulfilled, and fall asleep in that vibration. With time, this will become more than a practice. It will become your new natural state of being. Remember, you are the signal, and reality responds. This is not a metaphor. It is a real mechanism, validated by science and lived by thousands who have chosen to awaken to their power. If this content resonated with you, share it with someone who needs this message. And of course, subscribe to the channel to keep receiving videos like this, where science, spirituality, and human development meet in practical and transformative ways. Now comment below, I rewrite my reality in the now. Let's create a current of conscious, powerful, and vibrant energy that inspires transformation in everyone who comes across it.